final thoughts for me, Chris. You gave a shout out to a fellow Woody High alum last week with Joy Taylor having her show on Fox 2 to 4 on Saturdays, Fox Sports Radio. So again, shout out to Joy. This week, I'm going to touch on another fellow Woody High alum who's doing big things, Ryan Mundy. Shout out to Ryan Mundy and his I don't even want to say foundation, but his venture, so to speak. Ryan Mundy, former Bears and Steelers, he's starting up a platform that he wants it to be the Peloton for Black mental health. It's called Alchemy, and he's raised $4.6 million to bring mental health resources to the Black community. Mm-hmm. With this, he's saying that Alchemy, he wants to help bring mental health resources to all Black Americans, a platform that connects users with professionals in psychology, mindfulness, and wellness, focusing specifically on the Black community. Alchemy provides access to content around issues like intergenerational trauma, systemic racism, anxiety, and microaggressions. So shout out to Mundy for using this platform. We're a big proponent of mental health and you know the pitfalls that a lot of people face. I've spoke about my mental health issues on this podcast a couple times here. So shout out to him for getting those resources into the communities where people may not have resources to go out and seek the mental health that they need to get in order to get them right and back on track. So shout out to Ryan Mundy doing big things there for the former Woody High alum. And then specifically to stick within the Woodland Hills theme, Woodland Hills and Penn Hills played last night. Those of you that are not Pittsburgh related or know about the Pittsburgh area, but take any of the biggest high school rivalries as far as football goes, with communities that are close to each other within wherever you're listening to us at, and that's Woodland Hills versus Penn Hills, right? Always want to root against Penn Hills. Always want Woodland Hills to beat Penn Hills, but this year's game took on bigger significance given the fact of the recent violence that's gone on in the surrounding areas in both of those communities. So last night they played their game in front of no fans due to concerns surrounding the violence and the issues that have gone on. And after the game, both Penn Hills and Woodland Hills gathered, or before the game, both of them gathered for a sign and a show of unity at midfield. Got together and interlocked arms with each other and shared a prayer. And then after the game, they sat in the stands and shared pizza with one another. So shout out to the coaches from both of them staff. Shout out to the young men that were on the field. Football and sports in general are a great way to teach individuals about life lessons, whether it's facing adversity, triumphs, pitfalls, everything else. But shout out to these kids for taking the first step to being part of the solution instead of continuing to be part of the problem. We need to end the violence, period, throughout the communities around our surrounding areas and around wherever you're listening at, surrounding areas around the country. There's too many young kids dying for senseless reasons. So if these guys can come together from not too far communities and show a sign of unity amongst them, and break bread, so to speak, and the symbolism between that. So hopefully it's not going to help with the people that have lost individuals due to the senseless violence. But again, it's that sign of unity and showing, hey, we can come together because we believe in a bigger cause, and we want to be the individuals that put ourselves out there to stop the violence instead of continuing it on. Hands, round of applause. We don't have gunshots or hands clapping because we don't have a soundboard. We're not that professional of a podcast, but kudos to everybody involved in that last night. I was real proud to say that I'm a Woodland Hills alum last night, as I'm sure, people from Penn Hills are as well. So kudos to you guys, appreciations. But yeah, just wanted to highlight those two things from a fellow Woody High alum and Ryan Mundy, and then also, the current guys that are there at Woodland Hills right now, and also the guys at Penn Hills for what they did last night to stand up against the senseless violence that's gone on in the communities recently.
And if you notice in sports, it's never really on field issues. On field, it's all love. Even though it's a big ass rivalry, you love your opponent. It's just sad that the outside world had to affect it.
Right. And I mean, we saw this even going back to whenever we were in high school. Like the Penn Hills Woodland Hills game, it was always on a Saturday because they never let it play Friday night because of the violence. And so I mean, this has gone on. You know, me and Chris graduated in 2002. So you're talking 20 years. They've been playing this game either in front of no fans or on a Saturday, early Saturday morning. And it's not just the football game, it's also the basketball games. I remember playing basketball. Yeah, I remember playing basketball my 10th grade year. You know, that was closed off. That was a closed gym. Parents weren't even allowed in. It was just the players, varsity players, JV. I was on JV at the time. I couldn't even go in and watch the varsity game. It was closed off. So, like, this has been ongoing, and, you know, hopefully by what they did last night on the field as well as off the field, we can start to turn the corner on something that just doesn't make any sense. It hurts a lot of lives. It impacts a lot of lives. It impacts communities. And it's not just in our community and with schools that we live around. This is something that you see across the country in other areas, in other states, in other communities. So, again, wanted to shed some light on it because it needed to be shed. The young men last night made the right step in the right direction, and hopefully it can continue on and bring about the change that's needed because, you know, nobody wants, you know, their 16, 17, 18-year-old, let alone, you know, somebody that's 39, 40, 45 to go through and lose their life to senseless violence for no reason. But yeah, I just wanted to bring awareness to it, shine a light on it because it was well deserved, and hopefully it'll be the step in the right direction.